Welcome everyone to Tool Talk inside ChromeOS Readiness. So I'm Ovindi and we have Mitasha here to talk about the ChromeOS Readiness Tool. Hi Mitasha.
Hi Ovindi. So I'm looking forward to talk about the ChromeOS Readiness Tool with you today.
Right. So about this ChromeOS Readiness Tool, can you explain to us about the ChromeOS Readiness Tool and how this particular tool help an organization?
Absolutely. So I will explain using an example. Let's say you're from an organization who's currently using Windows and plan to switch from Windows to ChromeOS. Then probably you might be thinking it's a whole lot of things you need to do. It's a very cumbersome process. But actually we can make it more easier for you using this ChromeOS Readiness Tool, because we can do an assessment for your organization and let you know whether your Windows devices are ready for ChromeOS or not very simply. So that's like the main purpose behind the ChromeOS Readiness Tool and how it can help enterprise organizations.
Alright, that's great to hear. So how does this tool actually work? Like the actual processes of this tool, how can you explain that?
Yes, actually it's a very interesting question. I can first give you a high-level idea before we move to the deeper details. So basically what we do using the ChromeOS Readiness Tool is that we collect data from the client machines. So when it comes to collecting data, we actually collect the application usage data. Then based on the application usage data and the application compatibility data, we define whether your device is ready for ChromeOS or not. So that's like a high-level idea about how the tool works.
Alright, so now that we have an understanding about how the tool generally works, so after this process, after the data collection process is over, how is a person in an organization is able to view this information?
Yes, so that is actually one of the most interesting parts when it comes to ChromeOS Readiness Tool, because in ChromeOS Readiness Tool we have like a separate component, or rather I would say a separate application, which is the ChromeOS Readiness Tool report generator. So there you can generate a report at the end of your assessment period, which will include all the readiness data of your organization. So you can go through that report and get an understanding about whether your device is ready to switch to ChromeOS or not. So in overall, whether your organization is ready for ChromeOS or not. So that's how any user can get the understanding of the insights and the details of the ChromeOS Readiness Tool.
Okay, now that we have a high-level idea about the ChromeOS Readiness Tool, can you tell us how this tool can be configured in an organization?
Yes, definitely. Let's explain that as well, because if someone is interested in using the tool, this part is very important for them. So first of all, when it comes to installation of the tool, or rather configuration of the tool, first you need the ChromeOS Readiness Tool setup file, which is readily available in the ChromeOS Readiness Tool website, so you can directly download it from there. So once you download the setup file, you need to execute the setup file in your admin machine. So after that, like once you successfully execute that setup file, you will get another application, or rather Windows application, which is called the ChromeOS Readiness Tool install application. So once you got that, there is another step which you need to do, which is the configuration process, because like there are several settings which you need to set according to the preference of your organization. So you need to configure the install application based on your preferences. So after that you complete the configuration process, you are almost done with installing the tool to your admin machine within your organization.
Alright, so how can you also tell us about how this data gets collected after the configuration process is completed?
Yes, absolutely. Next, let me explain how we collect the data. Now we install the tool to the admin machine. The next step is we need to collect the data from the client machines, because we need that data to do the assessment. So for that we have a component called the data collectors. We need to install these data collectors to the client machines within the organization. Then these data collectors will collect data regarding the application usage. That means what are the applications used in that particular device and the usage of those applications. So these are the details we are collecting from client machines, and using that we do the assessment. So if we are to talk about how we deploy these data collectors to the client machines, actually it can be different based on the installation method you select to install the ChromeOS Readiness Tool to your admin machine. So based on the installation method you pick, we have a separate process to install these data collectors to the client machines. Yeah, hope I explain your question clearly.
That's actually pretty interesting to hear. So, about this installation methods, so can you tell me why are there different installation methods? Is there a specific reason why there are different installation methods for this particular tool?
Yes, actually, it's a very good question because we have considered a lot of factors when we are coming up with two installation methods. So, like I've already mentioned, we have two main installation methods. The first one is the enterprise installation method, and the other one is the PowerShell installation method. Each installation method has its own purpose. So, when it comes to the enterprise installation method, it's mainly for organizations who use Active Directory to manage their network. Then we have the PowerShell installation methods. That's mainly for organizations who use UEM softwares, probably like Intune, Tanium, Workspace ONE. So these are for organizations who use UEM softwares to install application across their network. So for such organization, we have the PowerShell flow. So we are providing the flexibility to organizations based on their need and based on the setting up of their environment. They can pick whatever the installation method they want.
How interesting. You have made a tool based on a particular company's network. So making it very easy for the companies or the organizations to use this tool. So about the data being collected and these data being stored. So is there a specific way that happens, or is there a specific location for this data being stored? In this, is it within the premises or is it somewhere else? I think our viewers would like to know more about that as well.
Of course, actually it's one of the very common questions we always get talking about the storage option scenario. So when it comes to collecting data, we definitely need a storage location to store the collected data until we complete the assessment period. So for that also, we are providing several storage location options. So based on the customer's need, they can pick whatever the option they need. So based on the installation method, the different options we are providing can be different. So for the enterprise enterprise installation method, we have two such storage options. So first one is the network shared folder option. So when we install the tool in the admin machine, during that process itself, the tool will create a network shared folder within your organization. So the collected data from your client machine will be stored in that network shared folder. So that's how the first option works. Additionally, we have another storage option for the enterprise flow, which is the network shared folder and GCP storage bucket option. So what happens there is, in addition to storing the collected data in the network shared folder, we store the collected data in a GCP storage bucket as well. In that case, you need to create a GCP storage bucket for your organization, and then we have given the option to store the collected data there as well, in addition to the network shared folder. So these are the two options we are providing for the enterprise installation method.
Great. So now you explained about the enterprise installation. So could you elaborate and tell us more about the PowerShell installation flow as well?
Yes, of course. So let's talk about the PowerShell installation method. So like I've already mentioned, PowerShell installation method is for organizations who use UEM softwares to install applications across their network. So when it comes to PowerShell installation method, once you started the configuration process of the application within your admin machine, at the end of the process, you will get this deployment package. So you can use this deployment package to install the tool to the rest of the client machine. So for that, you can use the UEM software. So let's say you are using Intune, so you can use that particular UEM software and install this deployment package to the rest of the client machines. So that's how we install the data collectors to the client machines if you are going with the PowerShell flow. Then we, like usual, we collect the application usage data and do the assessment.
PowerShell installation method. So can you tell us more about the PowerShell installation methods and the specific storage locations used for that as well?
Because we need a storage location, like I've already mentioned, to store the collected data from the client machines. So currently we are only providing one storage option for the PowerShell flow, which is the GCP storage bucket option, where you need to create your own storage bucket in GCP so that we can store the collected data from your client machines in that storage bucket. So that's the storage option we currently have for the PowerShell flow. So that's a quick overview of PowerShell flow to get an understanding of how it works and the storage options we have for the PowerShell flow.
Great. Now that we talked about the different installation methods and their storage locations, we should talk about the end report or the specific assessment details that we'll be seeing at the end of this assessment period. So can you tell more about this report? What kind of information can be found in this report?
Yes, actually that is the most interesting part when it comes to the entire process, because first we do the assessment, and at the end of the assessment we generate a report for you so that you can refer to that report and know whether your organization is ready for ChromeOS or not. Now, talking about what is included in this report, it includes, for an example, how many devices of the organization are ready for ChromeOS, then how many devices are blocked from ChromeOS. Also, then how many devices might need further verification regarding their readiness for ChromeOS. So we include all these details in your report, which you can generate from the report generator application. And other than that, we put some additional details as well, such as what are the most used application within your organization, and let's take one particular device in your organization, then we show the readiness status of that particular device and what are the foreground and background applications used within that particular device. So we show all these details in that report so that you can refer to that report and gain insights regarding the readiness status of the organization. So that's like a high level idea about what will be included in the report, which you can generate at the end of the assessment time period.
That sounds absolutely interesting. So now that you said that it's a high level view of the information, what if a certain person from the organization wants to know more details about the information collected? Is that a possibility in the ChromeOS Readiness Tool?
Of course, actually we have to think about that particular use case as well. Since the report in the report generator is more like a visualized form of the readiness details of the organization, we are providing this additional feature where you can export the raw data of the collected data from your client machines as an Excel report. So you have that option in the report generator application. You can simply download an Excel file which includes all the raw data of the collected data from your client machines. It will include the device level details like the list of devices and what are the applications used in particular device and the usage time. All the details will be included in that Excel file. Probably it should be able to serve the purpose which you mentioned just now.
Okay, that answers my question. So now I have another question. So what if the information from this tool gathered need to be shown to a C-suite executive, like a high-level person of the organization? So they can't view this entire report or this particular raw data. Now, is that a solution? Is there a possible solution that you can give for those kind of situations through the ChromeOS Readiness Tool?
Yes, actually it's a very common question we get from our customers and the people who actually use the tool. So because of that, we have added this additional feature to the report generator where you can export an executive summary of the entire report in the report generator. You can download it as a PDF. It will include a high level idea about the entire report in the report generator. So if you want to get a quick idea about the entire report and the entire readiness status of the organization, you can simply go through this executive summary and gain that insight. So probably that should address the question you mentioned.
It absolutely does. So I think with your information, the information you gave us, we were able to get more information and more knowledge about the ChromeOS Readiness Tool. For that, we thank you sincerely for joining with us today regarding the ChromeOS Readiness Tool.
Thank you, Govind. Actually, it was a very interesting conversation. So I'm glad to talk about the ChromeOS Readiness Tool with you today.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us again, Mitasha. So with that, we have come to the end of our first episode of the ChromeOS Readiness Tool Talk. So we'll see you again in our next episode. Until then, stay ready, stay curious.